Hi guys, welcome back to the Eddie Project.
Indeed.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, in fact it was last week I think, that we showed you the upgrade to one of our analog compressors. This week, we're going to show you how to record them in real time. Straight from your source, into your compressor, straight to print.
Oh yeah, to print them, yeah.
To print them. So stick around because it is marvellous.
It's marvellous.
Okay, guys. So this is an answer to it. We had to answer it ourselves. We were looking for ages for an answer to this, and I had to make it up myself.
Well, actually, we did get a couple of responses, didn't we? And to be honest with you,
couldn't make head to tail of it.
No, they didn't give us what we wanted, and one of them will be unnamed, but it was a high profiler. You know, in the door of choice that we use.
It was, yeah.
And basically, we had to stumble across this ourselves.
We did. What we want to do, guys, and what you may want to do, is in the old days of analog, we had a reel-to-reel, we had a desk, we had our external compressors, okay? Now, we used to get the desk, get our input, send the whole shish kabang through the compressor, back into the desk, and then print it to tape as we went along, right? Now, it makes even more sense if you've got a external hardware these days with your DAW. It makes even more sense to do it this way because, for one, like us, we've only got one of each of the analog compressors.
Yeah.
Now, if you want that on any more than one channel, that sound and what it does, then you're going to need to do it this way anyway.
Yeah.
Now, we don't print with any other effects, but we did want to use compression and use that on most of our channels. Yeah. So the way we found how to do it was this. So if you look on the screen, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to create a audio channel or audio track, and we're going to press OK. Now we're going to call this our inputs channel. Now, in our case, this would be, because Ed's going to demonstrate this with the guitar, so in our case, this is going to be our guitar input. So now we're going to add an external effect, which will give the external 1176.
Yeah, that's the one.
A channel in Cubase. So we're going to come down here, go to the external plugins, 1176, and press Add Track. So let's go into the input.
And the input, you'll see at the end where it says stereo out.
That's right.
That needs to be changed to 1176.
1176 hardware.
So the signal's coming in now, and he's exiting the input.
That's right.
To 1176.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we can go to the 1176.
Absolutely. So now we're going back into here. And we're going to press on the settings.
So you can see that we have the 1176.
So now you see the 1176.
Insert.
That's correct. And then at the moment, we're going to treat this as the end of the line.
Yeah, this is the only compressor.
So the output is going straight to the stereo out. So what Ed's going to do now, after we've added an output track.
Yeah, we need an output track.
So we're going to go do it all. And then we're going to go into settings.
And the output track.
And then the output track.
Where it says input along the top, we need to select 1176 again.
Okay, so in the input here, 1176 hardware.
That's it.
Marvellous.
And we'll leave the stereo out untouched.
And we're going to leave it going to the stereo bus. So
now what we have, guys, as you can see on the screen, we'll have the input coming in through the input channel. He'll be directed to the 1176. In the 1176, he will be directed to the stereo output, and also on the final track, which is the output track, the input will need to be set to 1176.
Marvellous.
And again, that will be defaulted at stereo out.
Now, to make this work, guys, and this is very, very, important,
yeah.
right, is that you do have to, on the input and the output, you have to make sure that your monitor speaker is activated.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it won't record. I'm not sure about the output, but definitely, definitely.
I would say both of them. You need the Cubase monitor through Cubase icon highlighted, and I think again you probably need both input and output with the record enabled.
Yeah. Right. So Ed's going to now. We're going to record some of this for you, and Ed's now going to record a bit of this, and we're going to record the bare input, aren't we, Ed, as well?
Yes.
That's why I've pressed record enabled on the input channel, and record on the affected channel.
Yeah.
So there we go, Ed. I'm going to go straight into record, no counts, and we're doing it. There you go, guys. So what we've got now is the unaffected record track there, and the compressed one there. So we can have a listen to this.
So if you,
let's solo that. Marvellous. And you can see how the 1176 has caught these initial transients there.
You can.
Yeah. Okay. Now then, what we wanted to do, because we've got like an LA to a clone.
Yeah, it's got a valve compressor.
We've got
for the
that's
warm.
Right. That's right. Yeah. So in the old days, Ed, they used to use these two together.
Well, there's quite a few guys that actually they swear by this. They use it a lot. I mean, CLA, I think, is one of them. There's quite a few high-profile filers, and what they like to do is run a couple of dB of compression from an 1176 going into an LA2A and giving another couple of dB, and then it goes to print. And of course, because it's not so drastic, it allows you to add a little bit more compression down the mix somewhere if you need it.
That's right.
But it seems to be quite a popular technique.
That's right.
So as we've got both compressors, that's what we're going to.
So now we're going to show you how to pull that trick off if you've got two external compressors like we have. Right.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now, I'll just get rid of these mutes and solos, and then we're going to go down and we're going to add another effects track.
Yeah.
So we're going. The input would be the hardware, the 2A.
2A, yeah. That's 11. That's the one.
And then add that track. So now we're going to go through the chain, because now the chains has to be altered.
Yeah.
In order
to make
to
it easier for the guys to see, why don't you drag the LA2A up to under the.
That's it. There you go, Ed.
Right.
Right.
So where we have to go from here, we need to go back firstly into the the 1176.
Yeah.
And then we edit that into the edit mode. And where it says the target, we now need to make that LA2.
Marvellous, Ed. Marvellous.
So now, as you can see, coming in there, into the 1176, out of the 76, into the LA2A.
As opposed to going into the stereo bus.
Exactly, like it was. Now, if we now highlight the LA2 hardware.
So now we're going to the LA2 hardware.
And then go into the edit mode for that. Now, you can see it's already pre-selected it on the input. You can see along the top, it's actually getting this input from the the 76, and it's now showing that it's going through the 2A, The stereo out can be left.
The stereo out can be left.
And we'll then finally
adjust the output
go
channel.
into the output channel. We'll do the edit in that. And that should be along the top. We now know to change that to LA2A.
Because now this is a mixture of the two.
Yeah. And then stereo output is left as default.
That's it.
And we're all fit.
And we're all fit. Yeah. So, again, guys, make sure that your input is being monitored. And I'll say the output, but you play with it yourself, because this is just how we got it to work, and this is our safe zone for now. Yeah. So here we go. Recording now, Ed. Now, as you can see, those the compression monitors on the two compressors were dancing about there, and here we have the result. So we're going to solo this out.
You can undoubtedly hear the compression there.
Oh yeah, and the warmth that it's given.
Oh, the second one does give that warmth.
Yeah, it does. I'm just going to take this off and put it directly to the speakers again, Ed, and do a direct comparisоnism. Do you like that comparisоnism?
Oh, yeah, do a comparisоnism. Well, you would do, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah. So here's the original. And now this one. Very nice.
I mean, and to let the guys know as well, I mean, this is really, it's not about guitar tone or anything like that, guys, so don't get that wrong. Just to let you guys hear what the compression is like when it's printed to the file. And what it's like going into one compressor gently, and then a gentle compression into another gentle compressor, and what you end up with is this guitar was that it was DI'd straight into the desk. There's not going through a plug-in or an amp or anything. So that's why it sounds a little bit anemic, guys. So
what we would do is select, I don't know, say what do you want to. Just put what you want on afterwards.
Oh yeah, I mean,
all we wanted out of this was the compression and the warmth at the analog and the tubes in the two.
Yeah, we're not interested in the tone.
Yeah. So from there, we would then go and select Ed's favourite plug-in and put it through that.
Yeah, well that's right. I mean, you would either if you guys were doing it for real, you would either record your amp in, or when you've got your input up, you would insert the plug-in of your choice on the insert. And then, of course, that would go through. That would go through the compressors, and that would all be printed to your... The thing is, guys, you have to make your mind up on this one, because there's two camps on this.
There is,
two thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, there's some guys, well, no, you don't. You just use the plug-ins because if you don't like it somewhere down the line, you can change it. But there's other guys that have Grammy Award winners for decades and still working, and they will say, you look, when you get your track together, you know it in your head, you know how you want it, you can hear it, how you want it to turn out, and you should, they say, commit to the sound. You know, when you're working it, I know the keyboard sound I want, or the guitar sound, or whatever, you should commit to that, because if you don't, you'll always keep second guessing yourself all the way down the line, and sometimes you'll get further away from what you actually want to be the more you change. So there's two camps.
So
we're only bringing this to you for what we've discovered, and this is how we would like to put down maybe some acoustic guitars or some vocals with a bit of gentle compression just to get it started, and then
to give it that characteristic.
Exactly, and then we can add to it as we go. You know.
Yeah, and as I say, it makes sense with working with this external hardware.
Yeah.
Because you've only got one of each.
Yeah.
And if you want the effects on more than one channel, then unless you go out and buy loads of these things, which is what they had to do in the old days.
Well, that's why some of even the guys now have got like 6 of these in the rack. I mean,
That's right,
like, again, go back to talking about CLA. He's got, I believe, 5 or 6 LA2s in his rack. And that would be why.
Yeah.
Because he'd want one on the vocal and then he might want one somewhere else.
That's right. Anyway, guys, I hope you found that interesting.
Yeah. Well, I hope you find it useful to them as well.
That's right. And if you did, please leave a comment and
give us a like on it.
give us a like. And don't forget to talk to us, guys, because we love to chat.
We do. And guys, please subscribe and, give us your feedback, like he says. Smash the notification bell so as you know when there's more episodes and stuff going up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Keep you informed, guys, yeah.
We also do reactions as well. So if
Yeah.
you're interested, get in there and have a look at them. See you next time, guys.
Ciao for now, guys.